right, if you just joined us, you're still watching Enterprise Morning from Enterprise Television. Let's go to our main conversation. Nigeria's federal government spent approximately 701 million naira funding the First Lady Remi Tinubu's trip to 5 countries over 3 months. In 2023, 1.5 billion naira was allocated for vehicles for the office of the First Lady, which is not recognized by the Constitution.
Former Chief Whip of the Senate, Ali Ndume, claimed the funds were for the presidency, not the First Lady's office.
Very true. And however, records show the government paid over 700 million naira for the First Lady's foreign trips. The trips include visits to the United States, France, Mozambique, Ethiopia, and London.
Additional funds were spent on the First Lady's programs, totaling over 1 billion naira in 7 months. Critics argue that spending on the First Lady's office is illegal and constitutes an abuse of office.
The Center for Anti-Corruption and Open Leadership and the Center for Social Justice have spoken out against the government's actions, citing the lack of constitutional provision for the office.
They urge Nigerians to demand accountability and prioritization of spending on essential public services.
Very true. And to do justice to these and more, we have joining us from Abuja virtually a great Imo. He is a public affairs commentator. Good morning to you, great.
Good morning.
Good morning, great.
Thank you so very much for your time. We truly do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Very well. And still joining us, still with us in the studios, Pastor Fansufeli. Thank you so very much for hanging on.
Thank you.
And yes, all right. So let's get into this particular discussion. But just before I get into that, I think it's very important that we reveal some reality and of course some truth here. During an interdenominational church service at the National Christian Center, Abuja, the First Lady said this, and I want to quote here: "Nigeria's wealth is the commonwealth of all. It belongs to everyone. God has blessed my family. We don't need the wealth of Nigeria to survive, but to do the right thing. And I promise you on this altar that with your help, with the help of God, we will set this nation on the right path." A great Imo. Remember, she's a pastor. And she just stated that at a service she was, of course, called on. Now, how do you factor this? And do you think there is something the Nigerians are not seeing?
Well, thank you. Let me start by saying that she is a pastor. She spoke on the altar, promising that, saying that the husband and herself are well to do. They don't need the resources of Nigeria. Let me establish this fact. That somebody spoke either in the mosque or in the church. For some of us, it does not get different because for us, God is not the author of religion. So all these man structures, some of these, I believe in God. But some of these things you see here are what they call religious colonization structures, which the colonial masters used to hold our merely down in order to exploit them. And the neo-colonists, the current elite of Nigerians who have borrowed from the colonial thinking and who still runs this country as though they are of colonial origin, are still using such manipulative instruments. You know, average Nigerian literally can hardly, because, you know, even when you read the scriptures of both major religions in Nigeria, most times they tell you to become a believer, not a knower. The question was a believer. A believer is somebody who is asked to consume and accept what he has been told, but not a knower. A knower is somebody who tries to discover things for himself. But in most cases, those who go to churches and mosques in Nigeria, I believe they are not knowers, they are not seekers of God, literally. Because if they are seekers of God, they would go for themselves and not be trapped in these religious, epoch structures that are used to mentally keep Africans down. But having said that, so it doesn't matter where anybody says anything, whether in a church, in a mosque. The question to you is that who is this character? The person who says that she and the husband, God have blessed them, I don't know what businesses they have run in Nigeria. Because in Nigeria, somebody emerges from nowhere, becomes a politician, becomes rich. Can Nigerians ask a question? By 1899, before President Bola Tinubu became governor of Lagos State, can he tell us how much he was worth in Naira and Kobo Nigeria? So God has blessed Tinubu. Is it by living a rental life, living on the sweat of Lagosians and Nigerians that they have been blessed by Remi Tinubu going to the Senate and with all these humongous budgets that have been made for members of the National Assembly and the governors of Nigeria putting their hand in the till? Is that the blessings of God? Is that the blessings of God? So people who have never run anything, what is the company that produces anything? What is their source of wealth? How could God have blessed? Look, let me tell you, in this country, once anybody succeeds through any means, stealing, as long as they have not been caught, God has blessed them. So, but when we ask people questions, ask them, what have these people built? Where is their farm estate? Where is their productive factory? Where is their shopping mall? What businesses have they run critical Naira and Kobo? That is why they can't come in government. They don't understand, macroeconomic, they don't understand issues, small issues, how the engine of the economy runs, because they've not participated. These who are living red life, they live all their life on government. They kill body on government. Such is not God, except they are telling us God in this case means government of the day. So God also can mean government of the day have blessed them, G-O-D. If government of the day have blessed them, so we should not confuse people. G-O-D, government of the day. So we can understand that one. But if it is the all-knowing God, all-knowing God, I don't think they can deceive him, but they can deceive Nigerians. Now, I haven't said that. It is not surprising that these people who claim to have been blessed are now coming to power to live as though, let me use this word. Sometimes I look at Nigerian leaders, Nigerian political elite, they act like people have surfacing. They are hollow. They require material things to fill their hollowness. Sometimes they are incomplete in themselves because they have no value within themselves. So they are always looking for big house, big agbada, siren, enough noise, and people falling around, running with God to make them feel like they're important. But in themselves, they know they are not important. Before these people of the world, they are laughable. Even people of all these material things, where relation cast of the world can go and get honor, they can't. Where the Chimamandas of this world can go and get honor, they cannot. Where Sokojiwala can go and get honor. It's not the fact they are in this high position because people, they don't know the content of life. This is one problem that the man of color has. Even in America, that's why you see superstars, once they make money, they move to high profile areas, buy long limousines, get so many servants, showing them up and bouncers. Down the road, you see that a very important prominent American artist has been declared poor. So what is the problem? It happens when people have low self-esteem. It happens when people are incomplete. It happens when people are not made of true value. So they think that the primitive acquisition and accumulation and be necessary to enhance everybody's resources can make them be fulfilled. That is a sign of emptiness.
Thank you, Great Timo.
And the second question to ask, of all these three, what is the return on investment? You spend 700-something million, you go to UK, first lady travel, and who cares? You can travel to anywhere. What is the return on investment for Nigerians? Nothing.
Thank you. Thank you, Great Timo.
So they are just filling their hollow, trying to fill the bottomless hollowness in them. That is nothing more, nothing more. They are not relevant to this society because they are not producers that will make people to respect and honor them.
Thank you so much, Great Timo. Thank you for your submission. And Barrister Evans Ufeli. It is most times left for Nigerians to cry out when looking at our National Assembly. They are just Nigerians feel they're just occupying space and they're not doing the right thing. And it boils down to Nigerians always asking, or those in power asking Nigerians to cry out and speak out. Now, for those that have come out to speak, they are most times favored in a way whereby they are allowed to speak, but after speaking, there is no freedom after speech. At this point, what are we going to say when those who are supposed to stand up to the occasion, question the government and question the presidency are not doing it? How far can Nigerians' voice go at this point?
This National Assembly, sadly, they are not oversighting anything. Okay, anything the president does, his actions and inactions, nothing is oversighted. So the provision of Section 88 and 89 of the 1999 Constitution that bestowed that power on the National Assembly is not being activated. The National Assembly have shown that they are an unfortunate bunch of people who cannot question someone or oversight the president. Now, you see Remi Tinubu, I'm not a fan of Remi Tinubu because Remi Tinubu is not an intellectual.
Why?
She's not, she's an illiterate, as best I could say. I've seen her trajectory. She's not the kind of person that should spend that kind of money because it's not an investment. It's a waste of time. And this review of what he spent on 5 trips, right?
Yeah.
On 5 trips. Just go further to amplify her wretchedness. And the wretchedness of that office that is unconstitutional. The husband is busy telling her that 2 investors have come to sign. Then she is there plundering our commonwealth. What kind of investment can Remi Tinubu muster and bring to the table to the Nigerian state? So you see, this goes further to amplify her nuisance value, which is unsurmountable. See, no matter how she tries, she does not have the clout, she doesn't have the temperament, she cannot do what she's wasting money to do. And that office is illegal. Now, the National Assembly have failed to do what they are supposed to do. So it leaves us with so many problems. That wretched, that amplifying nuisance is not what this country needs at this time.
But in fact, I would love to say that some of the things you're saying here, we'll have to maybe bleep them, and because of the sensitivity of some of them. Like, for example, Remi Tinubu, she's actually a graduate of Obafemi Awolowo University and also at Adeyemi Federal University of Education.
She read education. I've seen
Yes.
that. I've seen the union version too. I've seen all that before. I'm saying what I'm saying. I mean, you can go to anywhere and not be what you claim to be. That's what I'm saying. That she had not shown any credibility in any. She was in the House. She was in the Senate. Okay, what was her contribution to national development at the Senate? Can you track down those information? That she led, she passed this bill, she initiated this, she was in this committee, she moved the motion, she projected Nigeria, and these are the results of her exploits. If you see that on the internet, I'll pull this suit and go and throw it away. You cannot see that about her. So what she's trying to do, see that when Buhari was in office, the office of the First Lady was non-existent. When Yar'Adua was in office, was there anything like that? Okay, apart from the other ones who did what they did. Okay, Yar'Adua's wife was, you understand? But we have said it consistently over time that there's nothing like the office of the First Lady. And for me, it's not necessary too. Because we have a Ministry of Women Affairs. Okay. Whatever it is that the First Lady wants to do can be tied up to that Ministry of Women Affairs. And they can execute whatever they want to execute from there. This one is just to waste money. Do you know that because of this illegal office, in 2023, they came up with a supplementary budget where she got over 1.something billion for frivolities, to buy cars, SUVs for her, and just wasting resources.
And I think it's also very important that we note here also, in March 2021, Senator Tinubu proposed a bill to reform the Nigerian Postal Service, NIPOS, to make it a more viable entity. Of course, we had that during our newspaper reviews. And she also received the award for the most impactful female senator and the Guardian organized International Women's Day Summit in 2021.
Yes, it's the Guardian that will tell us what exactly they're celebrating her for. Yeah, they are the ones that will tell her what they're celebrating her for, whether truly she has done exploit, or whether this is just to find a way to get money from her, or whatever it is. She does not merit that thing they are saying, because we know people in this society that have done credible things and have done exploits. And then when the husband was sworn into office, she went out to tell Nigerians that God has blessed them, they have money, they don't need. Why didn't he use the husband money to start to do all these trips that she did, 5 trips for this amount? And what is the return on investment? How many investors have come now to initiate projects in the country that will benefit the masses? So I don't know why we are this wretchedness in governance is I mean, it's nauseating. When I'm going to get it right? When would someone who have brain in his head say, you know what, you guys are proposing this office, but it's not necessary. Let's mop up the funds and go and address insurgency. Let's mop up the fund and go to the IDPs to take care of our citizens that are displaced. Or let's channel it to some of this flooding and climate change and things like that. Okay. When will we get to that level? Where will be altruistic to society? It's just about flying up and down. The coup, what they call it, that was the one that her office did. She was also flying around with the president in the other this thing.
Thank you, Barrister.
I don't know this kind of country.
Yeah, over to you, Great Timo. We'll have to say this first, but the Enterprise TV will insist that the views of our guests are strictly theirs and not those of the channel. Moving on to you, Great Imo. Looking at the complacency of the National Assembly at this point, because they were voted in to actually speak on behalf of the citizens and actually create laws and actually guide our leaders. But at this point where they are not fulfilling their duties and they are not actually giving out the social roles that actually comes with the social responsibility there and the office they are occupying, how best can Nigeria come out of this mess? Because this is now looking like a norm for most of our leaders to come in, do whatever they like, and leave and not be questioned even after they leave office. How do we come out of this present mess?
Well, let me start by maybe you're letting us about the history of this national state, especially this Fourth Republic. Don't forget, this was the same National Assembly in Fourth Republic that a former DI of police who was a member of India stood up and said, in this National Assembly, the criminal is investigated as a police officer. That's what I said. Inside that chamber, a senator who was a former police officer, retired, stood there and said that inside that National Assembly, whom he investigated, and after all the noise, they couldn't even, assuming he was in Bangladesh, they should have called for his arrest. But they knew that if they did, he would have exposed so many of them. Mind you also, this current Senate, which is the Senate president, the 3 people who contested the Senate presidency of this now, all of them were being investigated for corruption, or they were being tried for their criminal cases against them. Akpabio, Ojuzo Kalu, were the other one. All of them, all the 3 people that contested the presidency of Nigeria they were on trial for criminal cases. And then what do you expect from that? No intellectual capacity, no ambition for no vision for the nation. It is just a place where someone to go connect the other high-profile criminals in Nigeria and share national resources. They need their budget. And people who are building library, where when they about building library, and you hear them speak, you hear them make arguments. A group of people who cannot argue issues, all they shout is here and there to share money. They are saying they are building library, and the budget for their library is about 100 times the budget for the whole national library, for the whole nation, for universities in Nigeria. Those are the characters that want to build a nation. As far as I'm concerned, those who have not tasted, do you hear anything from them? Nigerians are hungry today. They are not talking. Things are wrong. They are not talking. In fact, last week, I had to make a short video, about 1 minute clip, calling out my own House of Representatives, Honorable Ginger Onsibe, representing me South and South at the federal, and the Akapundu representing Abia Central. I called them that they are quiet why this government, this regime is throwing Nigeria, the economy. I did, I circulated. I want some respond to me. You can't do it. I said, I want his voice in that Senate. I want to hear a voice in the House of Representatives. We are giving our voice to them. That is why they are the representative of the people. If I speak as a citizen, it may make the most impact. But when they sit in that house, in that chamber, and they're able to analyze how this corruption in an NPC, how this budget burden and affect their own constituent, people will now make sense of their representation.
But great Imo, yes, great Imo. Yes, don't forget that most of these people you have mentioned, of course, representing your constituency, before they went into office, they were equally great analysts, awesome analysts like you do. But unfortunately, when they got there, they all forget about everything. So what do you think is the problem now? What do you think is the problem?
And I don't know most of those people in that national assembly to be great analysts. I don't, because if not for the political system where a man who came number 4 would become the number 1, and most of those people won't be there. They are not analysts. The biggest problem in Nigeria is the process that produces leadership in Nigeria is a complete mess. And the other day I heard in the news that former President Obasanjo went to Mina to visit IB at the Remi and so. And I was like, sometimes I used to sit and think about those people. They call them leaders of Nigeria, owners of Nigeria, and I don't know what they are thinking. Look at how that's a country in China are behaving. Where a military general can be voted just option of 5,000 naira and is prosecuted as consequence. Even those who are not president, there is Chairman Mao. She is the chairman of the committee that rules China, but in that express leadership, they will not allow anybody to undermine their nation. They are facing great countries like America and Britain, challenging them in terms of technology, economy, because they are serious about the growth of their people. That's why in 20 years they could put 800 million people of poverty. But here we have people wearing Agbada and Afri leaders and owners of Nigeria. They are allowing some stupid characters to mess the country up. These people are not great analysts. The system that brought them to power is flawed, or the most of them not be there. Look at the case of where in a state in Nigeria, where the beef rate is showing 500, but the result that produced the governor is 700 people. And we are keeping quiet. How many people in INEC and all the rest of them, they are squeezing themselves to go and become part of the corruption? The police is just working and looking like, oh, it doesn't concern us. In other countries of the world, the police will pick you up. They don't need the orders of Mr. President to do it. But even this police that is keeping quiet, even the security agencies that are keeping quiet, their families are in this mess. All of us are in this mess. The institutions that are supposed to hold accountable these political rascals are keeping quiet. So don't come and say they are political analysts like me. I have been in positions where I was supposed to be compromised. I'm not compromised. The man sitting there with you, I've known him for more than 15 years. He has been doing business with people. Have anybody come to tell you there is a person? They are not like me. I don't want to post about it. I've worked in government agencies as a consultant. Even they ate my money. I've worked with people. I started my career in Dela. It was owned by Nigerian government. I served under the editor as PA from their position International Art Magazine. I ran Look and Art Festival owned by Cora Committee for Relevant Art. I managed super arts in Nigeria. I want anybody to challenge me. that have done business and eaten them before. We speak of courage because some of us have known that the end of all these things, you see, most of these people don't think. Those who came before us are no longer here. Where are their bachelors? Where is Nnamdi? Where are their world? How does we not think that in this life we are just a complete in the ecosystem of God's creation to bring humanity to his place before his creator, and our role is transcend. We cannot move, go away with it. None of us living here alive. These guys don't think, so they are not analysts. Whatever you call, most of them are. In fact, some of them have no intellectual capacity to be in Abuja here.
All right.
They don't have it because they can't even be councillors in the same country.
Thank you.
And you think the worst is that we have been keeping quiet for this, making them feel that they own this country and they can place it up, run it anyhow. Like, we can't talk to president, we can't talk to governors. I say own Nigerians. They are intimidating people, journalists, shutting people, running around this country and acting freely. I think they kill everybody at the same time. Nigerians must stop being afraid of them. And anybody who thinks that why they should kill because it is their turn to eat, it may never be your turn because they may kill you before it gets to your turn.
All right.
They kill the same society.
Thank you so very much, Barrister Vansufeli. Great Imo talked about China. And of course, someone equally said that China is a dictatorship that works. I do not know how true that is. But let's get into Nigeria once more. Remi Tinubu, the First Lady, of course, said, she quoted that nobody should hold her husband responsible for Nigeria's problem because he is not a magician. Okay, that he is just a man who inherited the failure of a past administration. And in August of this year, Remi Tinubu launched an economic empowerment program where she was given 1.85 billion naira grant, which she said she was going to give out 50,000 naira to 37 traders across the country. And in that particular launch of that particular program, she said that no budget is assigned to her office, that all of the money accrued to helping people were donations from people. Now, we do not hold brief for her, but don't you think it's good enough to maybe to see the other side of the coin in all of the things that we hold against her?
She lied now. The last year, they budgeted money to that office for the supplementary budget. Supplementary budget, all the same is a budget. So she's lying. She can tell that to illiterates around her streets and people that are praise singers. She can tell us that. We know about appropriation. Part of the reason for that supplementary budget was to fund that office, and the money went to her. And they bought SUVs and all that. So you can't tell us that. And then they gave her how many billions? She's giving 50,000
50,000 to 37.
To 37 out,
Yes.
out of how many billion? So you see what I'm telling you about this woman. I'm not going to cast aspersion on her, but I will do analysis to reveal who she is. You understand? Look at the statements she just made, because you classify her as someone who went to school, that her husband should not be held responsible for the failure of the country. Who should be held responsible?
That is not a magician.
It's not a magician. He's not a magician, but he turned the economy upside down.
They say he inherited the failed economy.
He did not inherit it. He's actually a magician because he turned the economy overnight upside down. What he did was, before he got into office, fuel was 200 naira. Now it's over almost 1,000 plus. Is that not magic? That's magic. The man is a magician. So he has succeeded in destroying the country, eroded our values, brought down the economy, and then the wife is busy saying, they should not blame the husband because he inherited. What did he inherit? Did he inherit fuel at 1,000 naira or 200 naira? Even less than 200 naira. So that's what I'm telling you about. I'm telling you about this woman's thoughts, her memories, and things like this. That she's not fit and proper in character and learning to occupy that office, that illegal office, all the same. She's not. She's not. And the statement she just made has revealed that and has justified what I'm saying. Okay. So this is not one person whom you are going to tell. You are going to tell me that she's doing empowerment. There's no budget for her office, that and from donation, from grants, and the rest of that.
Thank you.
That is not good enough.
Thank you, Evans Sufeli. Okay, great, Timo. I think it's time for us to coast home. Can we get your parting shot, as we call it, a day today?
It's an opportunity to remind those call themselves leaders of Nigeria. Leaders are not decision holders. Leaders are finders. Those who know the city should be headed, and they work towards leading the people there. Though China, 100 years marathon, they should read Why Nations, so they should read Third World to First World. Maybe you should enlighten them a little. It's also plenty for we Nigerians, ordinary citizens, to know that the option and all these as we see around, we should not be motivated to be like them. We should seek and pray for to be part of the parents of Nigeria. We should not despair, because in a time not too long from now, there will be history, and history will remember them for nothing they have done for Nigeria because of their emptiness. Nigerians see these characters even when they go on their when they come on their ground, they should see them as people who are hollow, as people who are low self-esteem, and they are looking for something to fill it. That is why they don't know that the critical little things they can do to turn the society around, which is not they can do, starting with the education. For example, private schools today are clean, so they can't pay. If public schools are working, public schools set a standard measure. There is standard job. Most of these parents who are paying 400 income, personal income willing to take care of family. Simple things that societies do to turn their economy around. That was what they did. The private sector participation in education, road construction, health. They have 4 or 5 items that are non-go area for public sector, and they invest heavily in it. They are shown are very skilled. There are now people China and in the world. These people are not. We're not even discussing those things right now. We're not even discussing health for them. Man says that he hates economy. What is a private jet? What is is empty. People should sing for what they know that you are not. That is why you think that if we don't catch you, we don't respect you for those things. You not for respect. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, great Timo. Okay, Barrister Ivan Sopeli, it's 60 seconds. Let's call it to wrap your parting shot.
Yes. These funds that were spent by the office of the wife of the president is illegal. That office is illegal. And this is to call on the National Assembly or the same to summon the First Lady and the persons or leaders who release those funds, okay, for proper scrutiny and possibly subject her to criminal prosecution. Yes, she does not have immunity. She does not have immunity. It's the husband that have immunity, and that immunity only lasts for the period he's in office. You understand? Whoever have plundered the resources of this country, no matter how big or small the person is, must be prosecuted. But the reason I say so is because, if we don't prosecute these persons doing wrong, okay, destroying our commonwealth, and then bringing this country down to her knee, we'll continue to have things like this.
Well, Barrister Ivan Sopeli, if you're saying we should prosecute her, now, if we were to go a few months back, Governor Yahya Bello have not been sent to date, and he has not even been.
He's under investigation.
Yes, he's under investigation, but he hasn't shown his face yet.
Yes, they should go after him. Then.
Now, now I accept that, but the sitting president would not allow for his wife to be prosecuted.
The sitting president will not allow.
Yes.
Under what law?
We are citing the law, yes, but we know that they will.
What do we know now? What do we know? This is what is destroying this country. That it should not be prosecuted for spending money recklessly. The
political pressure would definitely be on those that will want to even prosecute her.
Whatever it is, that office must be probed. First, whatever resources have gone to that office is illegal. Whoever signed off those resources to that office is illegal. Everything about it is illegal. And when people commit offense, what is the consequence of that? Is it not prosecution?
Sure.
So, yes, they should be proved and prosecuted for wrongdoings. They are part of the problem of the country. They are part of why the country is not growing. So, if we begin to prosecute selectively, we're not going to go forward. In China, that same China they are talking about, go and spend money like this in China. You know what they do in China? They take the person to the national stadium and they behead him or her. That's what they do once you are found guilty. So when you quote China in one way, quote it the other way too. That if you do this in the same China, these are the consequences. And that is why they are growing. So if we don't do that, we'll keep going down, we'll keep talking every day.
Thank you so much.
Make excuse for our leaders and all that.
Yes, love to say thank you so very much. And just before we leave, I think it's very important that I say history is repetitive. Sometimes in 1917, where we had the Romanov family, there used to be a queen there, Alexandra Fyodorovna. Well, she was deeply involved in the personal and political life of her husband, Tsar Nicholas II. Her reputation suffered due to her influence over Nicholas, particularly in her insistence on maintaining autocratic rule in the face of growing revolutionary pressure in Russia. And of course, that led to the cleansing of that family. And we truly do wish and pray that our First Lady would see reasons to work with the husband, the president, and ensure that Nigerians get the dividends, the true dividends of democracy, which of course Nigerians yearn for in Nigeria and of course and those in the diaspora. I'd love to say thank you to Great Imo for being part of the show today. We truly do appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You so very much. Barrister Fansofeli, thank you as always for being part of our show today. Choma, thank you for being a great host. All right, so that's just about the time we have for our package today. We'd love to say thank you to our viewers and audience that have watched and have streamed wherever it is you've done that around the world. We truly do appreciate the time, and we would never take that for granted. But please do well to see us anytime you wish to at enterprisetvnews.com, and also like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. I am Henry Igwebike.
And I am Choma Okoye.
On behalf of the entire team, thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow. Rise and early. Bye-bye.